Mr. Biggs.
Thank you. Mr. Homan, who controls the U.S. southern border?
Criminal cartels of Mexico.
Who directs who's going to enter between the ports of entry?
The criminal cartels of Mexico control our southern border. They decide who goes where, when, and how.
Yeah. When was the last time you were at the border, Mr. Homan?
10 weeks ago.
Yeah. Mr. Arthur, my question for you is, you aware of the Supreme Court's ruling in Trump v. Hawaii?
I am, sir.
That dealt with presidential authority on, regarding entry of non-U.S. citizens, non-U.S. persons into the country. Can you explain to us what the holding was in that court? Not dicta, but the holding.
The holding in that case was that the travel restrictions that the Trump administration had implemented, which were implemented under Section 212F of the Immigration and Nationality Act, were valid. And the Supreme Court looked at 212F and they stated that it exudes deference to the executive in every clause.
It exudes deference to the executive branch. So Mr. Hamilton, does that mean that Congress needs to pass a new law immediately for this administration to try to grapple with the massive invasion from the people coming across the border?
I think that there are a number of tools this administration has abandoned, and there are a number of tools that are available that have yet to be further explored and expanded upon that Congress has already provided that could secure the border and begin securing the border tomorrow.
Give me an example of one of those tools.
MPP.
Don't you need Mexico to cooperate in order to implement MPP?
You need to overcome their will. It is a battle of wills, and Mexico is never going to want to accept it.
And Mexico indeed did not want to accept it, right, Mr. Holman, when the previous administration under Donald Trump was trying to implement MPP?
Yeah, I was kind of taken back over some of the last conversations that relationships with Mexico have never been better. They were excellent under President Trump. They put military on the southern border and northern border. They entered the Remain in Mexico program. They entered the third escape country agreements. I've never seen cooperation better than it was under President Trump.
Yeah, you know, so I find it really interesting. I mean, on the many times that I've been down at the border, I remember seeing Mexican National Guard in Juarez. I remember seeing them in various other locations along the southern border, including in Agua Prieta and Naco. I mean, I saw them. We actually had mild discourse with them. So I find it very interesting. Let's talk now about what else is happening. What other authorities are necessary? I mean, what does this president say? He's never really said what authority he thinks he lacks. Mr. Arthur, have you ever heard him say or identify any authority that he thinks he needs?
The president usually references a comprehensive immigration bill that he introduced on his first day in office back in 2021 that is really just kind of a major amnesty. It doesn't have any enforcement power.
Right. And so if we're going to bring this under control, I guess, Mr. Holman, what would you say the first step is to bring the border under control with the current authorities? You agree that with Mr. Hamilton's MPP is a great option, but what else?
MPP was a game changer for the Trump administration. It moved illegal immigration to 40-year low. We got to stop catch and release. As my colleague Mr. Hamilton said before, the more you release, the more that come. People around the world right now, you can cross the border legally. You'll be released in 24 hours. You'll be flown to the city of your choice. You begin work authorization. You get a free hotel room, 3 squares a day, and medical attention. The most vulnerable people in the world are going to put themselves in the hands of criminal cartels to take advantage of that. We got to end catch and release. And that's why the Remain in Mexico program worked, because after it got going in a few months, they stopped coming. Yeah, they realized they weren't being released in the United States.
So I want to point out that the Yuma sector in 2021, anybody know how many encounters were at the Yuma sector for the entire year? The last year that Donald Trump was president, 2020. 8,600. 142 miles along that. 8,600. You know how many Yuma gets, about how long it takes them to get to 8,600? It's about 9 days now. And when I was recently down on the TO reservation, San Miguel, there is nothing on the Mexican side for 45 miles. Caborca's the nearest village. they're seeing 600 to 1,000 people a day. Yeah, this administration has plenty of authority to bring this under control. Yield back.